Welcome back to Project 94 for another diecast review. So we've so far done 2 diecast reviews tonight. Yes, I'm saying tonight because I'm filming these videos at night. Depends on what time you'll be watching these. You can watch these videos anytime you want. And today, we're going to be taking a look at another 2023 NASCAR diecast. So we're going to get some more 2023s as the summer goes on. And this one here is going to be Kyle Larson's 2023 HendrickCars.com Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 number 5 for Hendrick Motorsports. This diecast right here, for some reason every year, like no matter how many times they keep this paint scheme the same for Kyle Larson, it still ends up being super rare and hard to find. For whatever reason, probably because Kyle Larson is a really popular driver with a large fan base, and he'll have his fans get the car every year. And of course is the 2023 edition, which has the big change that we will be talking about. But for the most part, I haven't taken this out of the box, and it pretty much does look like last year's car from the sides and the roof. But we'll talk about the hood in a minute here when we get this diecast review on. But yeah, this is Kyle Larson's 2023. Hopefully we'll get some more of his different paint schemes, particularly that Valvoline one, which is not the biggest fan of that paint scheme as of this video. Maybe that opinion will change. But as of right now, we're just going to review the HendrickCars.com because that's what we have. That's what came in the recent shipment, this Kyle Larson diecast. Right here, the 2023. Decided to pick it up and do the review and show you guys what this diecast is like. The 2023 Kyle Larson. Let's get this diecast out of the box. Ooh, this one's hard to get out. Ugh, usually don't have this hard of a time unboxing these things. Usually I just open them up like quickly, like this. Usually open them up like that. This one, not so much. Here is the diecast out of the box right here. Kyle Larson and his 2023 HendrickCars.com. And yep, I'm looking at this and I'm like, man, I bought this. I'm not the biggest Kyle Larson fan in the world, but you know, that's not the reason for that reaction. It is very, very similar to last year's car, if not the exact same, but with a major change, which we are going to talk about here shortly. But yeah, guys, once again, the back wheels are janky. These 2023 cars, quality-wise, have dropped. Like, a lot of these have had trouble rolling properly, or the body's not on right. So yeah, definitely not proud of that for 11 bucks. But yeah, we're still going to take a look at the diecast regardless. So here is the front of the car. You got the number 5, Hendrick Motorsports, with the Chevy Camaro. No new mold for the Chevys on the 164s, or any new molds for the 164s in general. You're still going to have the original nose that they started out with, as you guys can tell. Here is where the change happened. It's not a very big change, but it's a change nonetheless, which I actually agree with a lot of people. This did improve the design, in my opinion. Maybe some people will like last year's hood better than this one, but in my opinion, I'm glad that they made it a bigger and slanted logo because it makes it look better and fast. Honestly, it looks like a fast race car. I mean, when you look at it from the hood, that looks very, very slick, very, very nice. And of course, not only the new slanted hood logo, but you're also going to get the hood vents. That has been updated as well for the HendrickCars.com Kyle Larson diecast, the new Chevy hood vents with the new Hendrick logo. Of course, got the ZL1, got Chevrolet Larson. We got a bit of decal paper inside of the window right there, and I can't get it out, so that's unfortunate. Ooh, we got a pretty thick, like, scratch right there on the window. You see that? Like, bit of a mark. I know that all the windows look like that, which the real cars look like this as well. You see, like, the lights hitting it, and you can see, like, the scuff marks. But then you come to that corner, and it looks like there's a bit of a thicker, like, scratch right there, like something hit it. Not too big of a deal for the diecast review. We'll move on from that. You have Sunoco. On the bottom corners of the front end, you have Goodyear, NASCAR Cup Series, the 75th anniversary logo for NASCAR. You have number 5, Kyle Larson. You got Chevrolet, Exalta, Cincinnati, Climb, Freightliner, Mack Tools, and Siemens. Pretty much the same contingencies on about all the Hendrick cars, except the Chase Elliott will probably have a small Hooters there or something. You have the slanted HendrickCars.com, so it could look good on the side, which it does. You have Valvoline with the rear quarter window printing. You have hiring technicians, and here's another change from last year's car. No more black rims. They are now going to this like newly standardized color, like the dark gray, which has been on a lot of the diecasts from 2023 so far. The dark gray seems to be the new standardized wheel instead of the black ones, which is accurate to the real car. So I'm glad they did that. The white Goodyear right there to blend in. Of course, here's the back. Got Chevrolet. Got Valvoline, which that logo keeps ending up crooked. Like, he's like, the Valvoline logo is like to that side. It's pointed to like the left. Shifted. A lot of the Hendrick cars are like that, sadly, for the Valvoline logo. But you have HendrickCars.com, number 5. Camaro ZL1. And you have HendrickCars.com right there on the deck lid. You have Larson on the roof, or the window banner, and then hiring techs on the roof. And now it's time for the paint scheme. I have reviewed this paint scheme several times. Of course, the first time it came out in 2022 on the next gen. Of course, the 2021, which I don't think I reviewed that on YouTube, did I? No, I don't think I did. The first time I reviewed this paint scheme on YouTube was 2022 on the next gen car. And then, of course, now we're reviewing it again on another next-gen Cup car, the 2023. And then, of course, we looked at it on the Chase Elliott truck and then the Kyle Larson Xfinity car. So I definitely have a lot of experience reviewing this paint scheme. I've reviewed it so many times. And now I'm contemplating if I ever get a Brian Vickers, the Brian Vickers and all those, like Ricky Hendrick diecast, if I should review the paint scheme again. Because I'm so tired of reviewing this paint scheme. It's the same all the time. This used to be the GMAC livery years ago. There was a newer GMAC livery. It was like 2006. I wish it would have gone to that instead of just copying this paint scheme again. This is going to end up just like the yellow Pennzoil car and the FedEx car and cars like that, where they just stay the same for a period of time and they kind of get boring. But nonetheless, I will review this again for you guys. There's probably some people that did not see the original video where I reviewed this car with the Focus Factor Eric Jones livery from last year with Action 46 Racing Network back when we were 9446 Network. Of course, a lot of change has happened since then. We are now separate channels. He runs the Flash Racing Cup Series, or I do the videos for that, and it's on his channel. And on that channel, when we were reviewing Diecast together, I reviewed this car with him. So, but I'll review it again for those people who have not seen that video, which, check it out. It was a good video. So you have the black splitter, black spoiler, and on the front, you're going to have those spikes in the front with the red and white. The red and white spikes, of course, you got the outline in red, and a little bit of the red in the middle right there with the white inside, which looks really sharp. I always love how that looks on all the vehicles, the Cup Truck and Xfinity mold. This is a great paint scheme. It really is good. So I'm glad they didn't change it in some way. I'm glad they didn't change it, but in some ways I'm like, I would have wished they went with that 2006 livery. But as a paint scheme, that looks good in the front. Very aggressive with those spikes. Coming out of the side, of course, when you look at it from the front, the right front and left front angles, you can still see the stripes from the front. Really cool that that was designed into the paint scheme where you can still see it from the side and the front. And of course, you're going to have the iconic Hendrick swoosh on the side with the 2 red spikes coming out of the wheel well. And of course, you have the little swoosh right there. The blue kind of starts by the wheel well right there, the front wheel well. But of course, in the kind of like towards the end of that, you're going to have the 2 thin red stripes with the red spike in the middle. And of course, it's going to wrap onto the A-pillar, that outer stripe. Then, of course, the switch is going to swoop across the side, the blue following through underneath. And then, of course, you're going to have the red wrap around the lower roof of the car with the red stripe right there coming out of the rear quarter window. So, got that red stripe there. And, of course, you're going to have the HendrickCars.com in the dark blue, which I like how the dark blue looks. It's a different blue that's compared to what's on the rest of the car, which is cool. I like how they have it as a different blue. Too much of the same blue would kind of just blend in too much. So really cool to see if they have it dark. HendrickCars.com. Of course, the Get Biofuel right there. And the white portion of the car, Because this is a new number placement, this scheme had to be modified a little from the original. Just a little, just to make that number placement fit on there. Of course, the door number would usually be in the middle, but it's moved. And because there's a lot of white real estate on the side of this paint scheme, there was a lot of room to make the Hendrick Cars logo as big and as wide as they wanted to, and I think they've done the best they could with that. This doesn't look bad at all. In fact, it looks quite good, in my opinion. Quite good. And here's the back. Of course, going to wrap over the swoop by the rear quarter panels right there with the red stripe following through once again. And then it's just going to be all blue, the all Hendrick colored blue in the back. Of course, the white deck lid. Some of the blue from the upper part of the paint scheme is going to continue onto the deck lid, but very little bit, very faint blue right there bleeding onto the deck lid. Of course, the darkhendrickcars.com blue logo. And the blue portion of the car, which, of course, we talked about it, how it was on the side with the swoop. It's painted that blue color. As you look underneath, it's painted that blue, which looks really good. I like how that looks. This blue was a really nice shade of Hendrick blue. Of course, you're going to see it all on mostly on the nose and on the hood right here, which looks great. This blue would have looked awesome in metallic. And no, not the fake metallic from the Napa 2018 diecast. That was awful. I feel like maybe metallic would have added to that blue. It just looks like a wrap on and not like paint. It's going to continue all the way on the roof. Wraps over the side window pillars right there. All on the roof and a little bit on the deck lid right there. And of course, it finishes off with the black spoiler and the blue in the back. I would have liked for them to have painted the I don't know about the spoiler, maybe the splitter blue like the rest, but they're having trouble painting parts on that apparently. Would have been a lot more color to it, especially on the side skirts. Like if they did not have that restriction of like wrapping over the side skirts, the blue would have looked good right there. The blue would have looked good on the splitter. But regardless, it's still a nice car, and now we're going to take a look at the numbers. The one on the roof, you're going to have a red outline, a thin blue outline, and a white number fill-in with the classic Terry Labonte 5 right there. Of course, the black roof rails, not looking too great with the quality. Of course, you got like this overspray right there. It's a little unfortunate. Maybe the decal got a bit cut off. But the black roof rails, nonetheless, would be on there. Of course, with that style number 5. Then on the door, you have a red shadow, a thin red outline, a white outline, and a dark blue number fill-in. A similar dark blue to what they used for the Hendrick cars on the door, which has a nice little air bubble to it. I just noticed that. That's just wonderful to have that air bubble right there. But the number 5 on the door is pretty much the same color as the side logo, which I like. Look at how that blue on that number right there. See how it's a darker blue than the paint? Something tells me I like that. As much as the side logo for the Hendrick. Just looks good. Looks really sharp. And to have the dark gray rims on the Hendrick car's livery, which is very iconic now, it looks good. I like how this iconic livery now has the new standardized dark gray rims. In my opinion, it makes it look pretty good. And look at the side skirts. Yikes. Got a bit of tearing, massive tearing. Quite a bit of tearing going on with this side. So I guess this would have been the better side had the side skirts not been all like that. But yeah, get a bit of Sharpie, fix that, and this is probably the better looking side of this particular diecast. But we're going to get a couple of close-ups, and giving you all the close-ups in the world, you really can't make this a different scheme. Look at it and notice much of the differences. There really aren't any at all besides the hood. And really, if they did not change the hood of this car, which we're going to continue like the 360 views and all that here. If it wasn't for the hood, I would not have picked up this car. I would have stuck with last year's diecast. But because I have to admit, the hood does look better on the 2023, I went and I picked this up for the review. So yeah, that is pretty much the money shot for the 2023 HendrickCars.com livery right there is the hood, because everything else is a majority the same. So here's the 360 view once again as I'm talking here. if you have last year's car and don't really care about Kyle Larson, or you're not a Larson fan, or you don't really care about the hood, don't get this diecast. Just don't waste your money on it. Like I said, I did it for the review. Maybe if you did not have last year's diecast, maybe this is a good chance to finally get this. I don't really know too many people that haven't gotten this who are diecast collectors already last year. But yeah, if you don't have a Larson car, great, go get this. But if you don't have a Larson, if you already have the Larson car from last year and you don't really care about the hood, you don't have to pick this one up. This would be a skip for me, recommendations wise. Like I said, unless you want a 2023 Larson, you really don't have to get this. But that is going to be it for the diecast review of Kyle Larson's 2023 HendrickCars.com livery for the 2023 season. It's a great diecast for a Larson fan, but I would definitely not have gotten this had they not changed the hood. I'll just leave it at that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this diecast review. Comment, like, and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next diecast review. And always remember to make sure you know what you're doing when you're putting decals on your diecasts.